Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In a twist that has left Sister Wives fans absolutely stunned and social media ablaze, Robyn Brown's children were allegedly shut out from a recent high-profile family wedding, and the real reason has nothing to do with scheduling, logistics, or forgotten invites. According to multiple insiders close to the Brown family and several stunning leaks that have recently surfaced online, Robyn's children, including Aurora, Brianna, and even Dayton, were intentionally excluded from the ceremony after months of rising internal tension, behind-the-scenes betrayal, and a family feud so deep that even TLC cameras allegedly weren't allowed to film it. The wedding in question, rumored to involve one of the older Brown children from Christine or Janelle's side of the family, was meant to be a joyous, unifying event. Instead, it's become the latest fracture point in what fans are now calling the final unraveling of the Brown clan. And as for why Robyn's children were shut out entirely, buckle up, because the truth is more explosive than anyone imagined, and it could spell the complete collapse of Robyn's already fragile standing in the family. Let's rewind for a moment. For years, Robyn painted herself as the devoted mother trying to keep her family intact, while her older children, especially Aurora and Brianna, were shown on Sister Wives as polite, obedient, and fiercely loyal to their mother's vision of unity. Viewers watched as Robyn cried on cue, begging the other wives to stay for the kids' sake, and time and again she claimed that all she wanted was for her children to feel loved and included. But behind the scenes, things were reportedly very different. Multiple sources now allege that Robyn consistently isolated her kids from the rest of the family, discouraged open relationships between her children and their half-siblings, and subtly, or sometimes not so subtly, encouraged them to align with her narrative that Christine, Janelle, and even Mary were unsafe or unstable. Now, that dynamic has come back to haunt her, because the children of the other wives, now adults with their own lives and families, are fighting back in the most powerful way they know how, by drawing a boundary. A very firm one. The wedding, held at an undisclosed private venue with strict guest lists and tight security, was reportedly a joyful and deeply emotional affair, but fans quickly noticed that not a single one of Robyn's kids appeared in any of the social media photos, stories, or tagged posts shared by family members in attendance. And while speculation ran wild, the truth soon emerged. They weren't invited. At all. In fact, sources close to the couple claim that the bride and groom specifically requested that Robyn's kids be left off the guest list, citing years of uncomfortable interactions, emotional manipulation, and a belief that they'd bring drama, not support. One relative allegedly told reporters that the couple wanted a day filled with peace, and Robyn's crew is the opposite of that. It's always tears, tension, or control. That's not what we wanted on our wedding day. If that wasn't jaw-dropping enough, it gets worse. According to someone close to the event planners, Kody was initially invited, but declined when he learned Robyn's children weren't welcome, a decision that has allegedly caused even more fallout behind closed doors. He chose them over the whole rest of the family again, the source said. That's been the problem all along. The insider added that Kody was furious about the exclusion, reportedly calling the decision disrespectful and vindictive, though others in the family countered that this was about peace, not punishment, and everyone knows why Robyn's kids weren't invited. So why, exactly, have Robyn's children become the pariahs of the Brown family's next generation? The answer, while devastating, is rooted in years of emotional division and behind-the-scenes manipulation, much of it orchestrated, or at least enabled, by Robyn herself. According to several family insiders, Robyn allegedly taught her children that loyalty to her came before family unity, and this played out in countless toxic ways. They'd report back anything they heard from the other kids, one insider revealed. There was this weird informant dynamic. Like, if Christine's kids said something bad about Kody, it would somehow get back to Robyn's household. It felt like we were all being watched. Others described Robyn's children as tense and high-strung, always anxious to say the right thing, rarely showing emotional authenticity, a sharp contrast to the warm, candid nature of Christine's and Janelle's kids, who are famously close-knit and grounded. But the most heartbreaking part? Some of the adult Brown children have gone on record saying they tried. They wanted to have a relationship with Robyn's kids, but they were repeatedly pushed away. In one especially telling moment, Gwendolyn Brown hinted on her YouTube recap channel that there were certain siblings she just didn't talk to anymore, and that they never really talked to us even when we were filming together. Another insider said it more bluntly. They didn't want unity. They wanted control. And now that control's gone, they're on the outside looking in. This wedding, then, became a line in the sand, the ultimate boundary drawn after years of hurt, rejection, and gaslighting. And it wasn't about cruelty. It was about protection. Emotional protection. Fans have responded with overwhelming support for the bride and groom's decision. Online forums erupted with praise, with one fan writing, "If Robyn wanted her kids to be included, maybe she should have raised them to treat the other siblings like family instead of enemies." Another added, "Actions have consequences, and that includes the next generation. If you alienate people for years, don't be surprised when they finally say enough." Still, others are expressing sorrow, not because Robyn's children were excluded, but because they were used for so long as pawns in a much bigger emotional game. "I feel bad for the kids," one commenter said. "They didn't ask for this. But Robyn made them soldiers in her war, and now they're suffering the fallout." And the fallout is real. Insiders claim Robyn is devastated and furious behind closed doors, and has accused the rest of the family of trying to erase her children, calling the wedding snub a cruel punishment. But others, including Janelle and Christine, are reportedly unmoved. "This wasn't about punishment," one source said. "This was about creating a safe, joyful space, and that space doesn't include Robyn's manipulation anymore." As for Robyn's children, sources say Aurora is taking the exclusion especially hard, while Brianna has gone silent on social media altogether. Dayton, who's remained largely off-camera for years, is said to be distancing himself even further from the family spotlight, reportedly telling a close friend, "I just want to be done with all of it." And while some fans hope this might be the wake-up call Robyn needs to rebuild bridges and address the deep fractures she's helped cause, others believe it's too little, too late. Because at the end of the day, this wedding was more than just a ceremony. It was a message, a reckoning, a statement of independence from Robyn's twisted version of what family should be. And for the first time, the next generation of Browns are boldly, unapologetically saying, "We're not carrying that." If the emotional weight of the wedding snub wasn't already enough to rock Robyn Brown's carefully crafted image of family loyalty, the aftermath has revealed even more cracks in the foundation, ones that no amount of staged crying, soft-spoken explanations, or TLC editing magic can repair. According to several behind-the-scenes accounts and newly leaked DMs from family insiders, the decision to exclude Robyn's children from the wedding was not made in haste or cruelty. It was a response to years of resentment, passive-aggressive conflict, and painful silence. This wasn't about one moment. It was about all the moments that built up, brick by brick, until the wall between Robyn's household and the rest of the Brown children became impenetrable. One source close to the bride explained it like this: "When you spend your whole life trying to have a relationship with siblings who look through you or act like your parents told them to avoid you, you eventually stop trying. You stop pretending. And when it comes time to celebrate your life and your love, you don't invite people who made you feel invisible for years." The insider, who reportedly attended the wedding, added that the decision was difficult but necessary, and that the bride actually cried over the guest list, not because she didn't care about Robyn's children, but because she did, and it hurt to admit that they were never really family in the first place. This haunting admission has stunned fans who, for years, bought into the show's portrayal of Robyn as a bridge between the other wives, a new wife trying desperately to fit in and blend families. But now, the illusion has been dismantled. Multiple adult Brown children, both publicly and anonymously, have started speaking out, painting a very different picture. One even described Robyn's household as a bubble, a cult inside the family where loyalty to Mom and Kody mattered more than love or siblinghood. That same source also claimed that attempts to reach out were routinely shut down, often with responses like, "We're not comfortable," or "That wouldn't be good for mom right now." Another family member reportedly said, "It always had to be on Robyn's terms." And those terms were usually silence. And here's where the plot thickens even further. Several Brown kids tried to invite Robyn's children to events before, birthday parties, graduations, small group dinners, only to be declined or ghosted. It became a painful pattern, and by the time this wedding rolled around, there was no more energy left to extend olive branches that just get set on fire, as one family member put it. In fact, the bride's fiancé was reportedly the one who firmly said no to including Robyn's children, pointing out that marriage is about who supports you, not who tolerates you, because the cameras are rolling. As for Kody Brown, his absence from the wedding spoke volumes. For a man who once bragged about attending every child's birth, every event, every milestone, his refusal to show up without Robyn's children was viewed by many in the family as the final betrayal. He chose his image again, one insider said. He chose comfort over connection. And everyone noticed. Photos from the wedding, which have since gone viral, show Christine beaming while dancing with the bride, Janelle giving a heartfelt toast, and Mary quietly hugging one of the younger attendees near the end of the night. But the absence of Kody and Robyn's side of the family? Deafening. To make matters even more dramatic, Robyn reportedly called the bride the night before the wedding, not to apologize or send her best wishes, but to express disappointment and, according to a family member, to guilt-trip her about cutting off her siblings. The bride, however, was unshaken. "I love them," she reportedly replied. "But they were never there. And I won't spend my wedding pretending they were." And now, the ripple effects are being felt far beyond that single event. TLC producers are said to be scrambling to re-edit upcoming Sister Wives footage, unsure of how to frame the growing divide without painting Robyn and Kody in an even more damning light. Insiders claim that Robyn has refused to film since learning about the wedding snub, and that Kody is furious that the storyline is leaking. But with Brown kids posting cryptic social media messages, podcast hints, and TikToks that point directly to the event, it's clear that the dam has finally broken. One particularly scathing post by one of Christine's children read, "You can't disappear for years and then act hurt when no one wants you at the table." Another simply said, "Blood isn't thicker when the bridge is burned." At this point, Robyn's reputation as the misunderstood, peacemaking wife has all but disintegrated, and her children, whether fairly or not, are facing the fallout of her choices. Fans are calling for Robyn to issue a public statement or apology, though many doubt that will ever happen. She'll probably cry on camera in season 20 and act like they were excluded for no reason, one Reddit user wrote. But we know the truth now. And it's worse than we imagined. So, where does that leave Robyn's children now? Insiders say Aurora is attempting to set the record straight privately by contacting a few family members, though most are reportedly not ready to re-engage. Brianna, heartbreakingly, is said to feel completely erased, while Dayton has withdrawn further from family activities altogether. But the larger tragedy is clear. A group of young adults, caught in the middle of their mother's long, exhausting war for control, are now paying the price for her decisions. And they're discovering, painfully and publicly, that family bridges, once burned, are not so easily rebuilt. In the end, this wedding became the defining moment of a generation, the first time the younger Browns drew their own boundaries, free from their parents' drama, expectations, or cameras. It was a wedding, yes, but it was also a revolution.